So, in your Bibles, you can turn to Proverbs chapter 31. It's just before the Psalms in the Old Testament. Proverbs chapter 31. This is the great chapter about what it is to be a woman of God. It's also very intimidating as a passage. Some women have said, okay, well, when you read Proverbs 31 about the woman of God, I don't live up to that. Well, I think that what we're looking at here is a guy that was so excited about the woman he loved that he wrote her out to be like Wonder Woman, okay? So before we read the Word of God, let's pray together. Lord, open your scriptures and our hearts, and the Holy Spirit come and teach us and realign us so that we have a proper heart posture. Thank you, Lord, for your word that doesn't ever come back empty. So, Lord, as it goes out into hearts today, may it bring a harvest of glory to you and inspiration to these women and us men. We live in a world that tears us down, so may your scriptures build up Jesus in our hearts, make him paramount, and I pray that it would build us up as your children. In Christ's holy name. Amen. So I'm going to read you some verses, and you can skip down. This is from Proverbs 31. Verse 12 says, she brings good, not harm, all the days of her life. Verse 17, she's energetic and strong, a hard worker. Her lamp burns late into the night. She's clothed with strength and dignity, and she laughs without fear of the future. Now, those are some select verses from here. Now, as we look at some other verses here, it says when she speaks, her words are wise. She gives instructions with kindness. Her children stand and bless her. Her husband praises her. And he says this, there are many virtuous and capable women in the world, but Sandra, you surpassed them all. That's what the husband says. And in verse 30, these are important. Charm is deceptive. Beauty does not last. For the woman who fears the Lord will be greatly praised. Reward her for all she has done. Let her deeds publicly declare her praise. Well, I don't know about you. I'm going to be 50 next year, so I remember the TV show Wonder Woman. It came out in the mid-70s, and it was a big deal for women back then, because now there was a woman on TV who was a hero, and then Charlie's Angels came out after that. And I'm just telling you, as a little boy, I had no problem with either show. That's a joke, but it's true. But it took 10 years, but there's a new Wonder Woman movie coming out. I don't know if it's going to be any good. I don't get my hopes up about movies anymore. Except maybe Star Wars, because I don't think they're going to mess that up. But I digress. At least this Wonder Woman's got more covered up than the one in 1977. Which is good, you know. But as I thought about this Sunday, I thought, you know what? These are Wonder Women we're speaking to. And I want to encourage you that you're not ordinary. That you're not unnoticed women of God. And Proverbs 31 was obviously written by Solomon when he had a woman in mind who had a lot of the character of Jesus Christ, put it that way. I think about my own mom. You know, my dad's in the Air Force. He decides he wants to be a pastor. So he finishes his time in the Air Force. He gets out. He starts going to high school at night, finishes his diploma. Finishes that after work. And then he goes to University of Waterloo to get a BA. And then he's going to seminary at the same time to get his Master of Divinity. And what he would do is this. He got a weekend job as a pastor. We had to visit people on Saturday, do funerals in between, and marry and bury as pastors do. And then he had to preach Sunday, eat lunch, and then Monday morning at 5 a.m. he'd get in the car, and the turkey would drive to Toronto, an hour and a half, 2 hours away, to go to school all week, while Mom had us boys at home, all week long. And then he'd come back and do it all over again until his degree was done. And he will tell you that she should have a diploma on the wall, says Sandra Evans, Master of Divinity, Sandra Evans, Bachelor of Arts, because she is the one that earned it for him. And what she put up with was the 3 sons while Paul and Tim at home. Blows my mind how she could do all that and still maintain sanity of some kind. And not only sanity, but her marriage. She is a Wonder Woman. She is patient. And then when her sons are teenage boys, they get a video camera and they decide they're going to make every movie spoof under the sun, and she comes home and there's ketchup all over the walls. Why is there ketchup all over the walls, boys? Oh, well, it's our special effects one. We're playing Miami Vice. When we get shot, we have ketchup in a sandwich bag, and it's hidden in her hand. And my brother goes, bang, bang, and we go, oh, and blood. It was awesome. Could you go clean the walls, please, son? Bob, why are you on the roof in your Superman suit? Throwing eggs at the neighbor's girls. Number one, they don't think that's funny. You're not attracting them being in tights and throwing eggs at them. Get off the roof. Oh, sorry, Mom. Boys, what are you doing with those fluorescent light bulbs that are burned out? Oh, they look like lightsabers. You're going to go blind. Go put those away. Right? The patience of the woman. Amazing, right? I remember one night, my dad was planning the church in West Edmonton. And the way it worked was we had to run church, get there at 7:38 in the morning. Mom and Dad would set up. She would teach Sunday school every Sunday. And then that night we had to go to the evening service at Fellowship Baptist Church in Edmonton because Dad's boss was there. And they were just exhausted. They only lasted 2 years at this church plant. They had to quit so their marriage would be okay. They moved to Kimberley. But I remember one night we're on our way to the evening service, and my dad is being obstinate. She said, Randy, I'm tired, the boys are tired, I don't want to go to church tonight. He says, you have to go to church, you're your pastor's wife, right? Can you imagine my mom ire, right? And I remember my dad said something, I don't know what he said, but all 3 of the boys in the back seat, and you hear my dad say something under his breath, and I've never seen it before. My mom's fist came flailing towards him. She punched him in the chest. And he pulled over the car. He says, I can't believe you hit me. And I'm in the back seat going like, well, Dad, I think you deserved that one. But she said, boys, get out of the car. And we opened the doors. We were only 3 blocks from home, and so we all walked home, and Dad sheepishly drove off. Came home later that night and apologized profusely after church. The Holy Spirit got to him a little bit in the service. And but she put up with so much. I mean, it's amazing what my mom did. And you women, when you see that, and guys, we know that what we saw on that screen there before we gave out the Mentos is very true about what women deal with. It is a lot of work. And so women, you got to understand that today what we want to do is we really want to lift you up, okay? That's what this is about. You're not going to get one of these sermons where women submit to your husbands. Although today, guys, you submit to your wives. Like Ephesians 5:1 says, okay. But I want to just posit this morning. A Wonder Woman is a woman who makes you wonder about what's different about her. Because I will say this, not about any woman in this room, but there are some women that I will not call a Wonder Woman. They are selfish, they are shallow, they are the Kim Kardashians of this world. Now, I won't talk about her heart, but I'll talk about what she does. Okay? I wouldn't call Kim Kardashian a Wonder Woman. I'd say she's rich and famous. You women deserve way more money than she's got. Salary.com says that you should be earning about $138,000 a year for everything you do as a mom. It's a lot of coin. I only wish that the Canadian government saw it that way. Right? But a Wonder Woman is someone who makes you wonder what's different about her. What is it about a woman that can help her put up with everything she puts up with and give her the tenacity to hang on when her kid is literally maybe telling her she's stupid? What is it about a woman that can make her hang on and still love that child and pray for that child and hold on to hope that the child and the seeds of love she's put into his life or her life will grow and it won't all be for naught? What's different about her, I found in the women that overcome, is that Christ is her cause. There's a glue, I would call it a spiritual glue holding her heart together that's not just human, and it's Jesus Christ. And when He's our cause, there are effects. The Bible's got a story. You women should write down these 2 chapters of Judges. It's a seldom preached about passage in the Bible about a woman named Deborah who became a judge in Israel. That means the leader of Israel. They didn't have prime ministers and presidents. She rose to be the leader of a whole nation. And it says in Judges 5, there were a few people left in the villages of Israel because the enemies of God were decimating them until this woman Deborah arose as a mother for Israel. She was a strong warrior woman. She was married. We only have 2 chapters to find out about her. But we know she was such a good general that Barak, who was the leader of the army, didn't want to go into war without her. She said, the bad guys are over there. God says He'll give them to our hand. You go get them. Barak says, I'll go if you come. She was such a good general that Barak wouldn't do it without her. And she said, if you do this, God said He'd give them to us. We're going to get the victory. If you do this, the victory's going to go to the woman. And Barak was like, bring it on. You're coming. And Deborah went with Barak, and they defeated the bad guys. And under her leadership, the end of Judges 5 says, there was 40 years of peace in Israel. She was such a good leader that the bad guys were tamped down. She expelled them. She brought peace back to her people for 40 years. It doesn't say that about other judges in the Bible, in the book of Judges. Some of them were even idiots. Deborah was a good leader. Women, you are valued by God. And Deborah was a God-energized woman. And I'm telling you today, that is what held her together in that role. She's a God-energized woman. And then the deal is when Christ is your cause, there is effect, right? There's cause and effect. In Proverbs 31, I don't think it just spontaneously rises in a woman's character. I think that the things we read from Proverbs 31 have to do with the fact that it's a God-energized woman Solomon's talking about. Solomon had a lot of experience with women. The dude was the richest king that ever lived, and he had all the women he wanted. He had something like 300 wives and 600 concubines. The guy's nuts. I mean, I love my wife, but I couldn't do a good job of taking care of more than one. He had all these women, and that would mean he'd have any woman he wanted. Probably every time there was a beautiful new young woman captured from the army going into a village, they bring this young beauty who was like Miss Uganda to his castle, and he would get her and everything else. But something happened in Solomon's mind and heart where the woman he's talking about in Proverbs 31 stood up, and he said, you are better than them all. And he knew, because he knew there was all these other women. And there was something about this woman. I think it's because he found a God-energized woman at some point in his life and grew up. And he said a couple things happen when she's a godly woman. She brings good and not harm. I think about all the good to the community that some of you women bring. And the life you bring to lifeless people. I see how you go up and hug people, and how you take them out for coffee, and how you're involved in your school and in your church. And I see that you're bringing good to the community, and that's because Jesus is in you. So you're bringing good and not harm to the community. And He's giving you a power and strength that is not your own. It says she's energetic and strong and a hard worker. The Spirit of God gives her ability to do more than she thinks she can do. God will be something holding you together more than just your will sometimes. Sometimes you can't get out of bed, but you do. Sometimes you don't get any notice for all the good things that you do in your life. The Spirit of God notices, and He gives you the ability. You've got some energy. They're hard workers. We're not talking about women that just sit at home all day and watch soap operas. Anybody notice soap operas anymore? I don't know. The Young and the Restless, I think, is on before the news right now. I don't know. It's in a while ago. Like, that show's still on there. You know what? A woman of God is a woman who's working hard. She's got an energy that's not her own. And when you look at somebody like Mother Teresa, that's got to be God to say to a woman, okay, I want you just to go pick up dying people and just love on them. So the first client in her house was a guy dying. The cabbie wouldn't give him a ride to her house, so she borrowed a wheelbarrow. What would inspire a woman to pick up dying people? And it's got to be the energy and the tenacity to give a woman a long-lasting strength that's not her own. So when your batteries are depleted, women, my first thing is just say to you, go to God. Go to God and get some strength. Your man might not notice that your batteries are drained. I hope he does. But if he doesn't, there's a man who notices and has the strength and the love to give you when you don't have it. His name is Jesus. So go to the Lord. And she's got something called dignity. I looked up dignity because you hear it a lot. The state of being worthy of honor and respect. She's called with strength and dignity. Dignity is something that the world doesn't want to willingly give you. It treats women as objects. It treats them as just a given, that they're just there, that they like cleaning up puke, right? But I'm telling you right now, you're worthy of honor and respect. And therefore, if I were you, I would demand it. I wouldn't let anybody treat you as less than worthy of respect. You're a daughter of the King. So if there's anybody that is putting you down, you put them in their place. Because your identity is that you're a daughter of Jesus. You stand up for yourself. And any of us other people sitting around here that aren't women, that would be us guys, we need to make sure that we are demanding dignity be given and respect be given to our women. And then, this is an interesting one. She laughs without fear. I thought, in a world that we live in, how can someone laugh without fear of the future? Well, the thought hit me. Somebody that can laugh is somebody that's in the moment. Whatever that moment is bringing. So, they can laugh at life, laugh at themselves, definitely laugh at their husbands a little bit when they need that. They can laugh at a situation like that mom who got on the floor and turned that fallen cake into a fun situation. You should be in the moment because you're not always worried about the future. Jesus said basically this: you've got this container of energy and love and joy and strength just for today. If you pour that into tomorrow, you haven't got it for today. And Jesus says, don't worry, write down Matthew 6. Don't worry about tomorrow. Jesus said, tomorrow will take care of itself. Today's got enough trouble of its own. So try and enjoy yourself a little bit. Try and laugh because you don't have to fear the future because he's already there. Jesus is already in the future. And he says at the end of Matthew 6:33, you don't have to worry about tomorrow because if you seek me first and my kingdom, then everything you need for tomorrow will be there already. All these other things you're worried about will be there if you seek me first. So you can laugh. I know some, and I'm not just talking about women, people that are so freaked out about the future that they're not having any fun today. Don't be like that. Once in a while you need to distract your mind from the world. When Rick Warren says spend an hour with Jesus and an hour relaxing every day, now some of my hour relaxing is watching King of Queens or some other funny show to make me laugh my head off. I was watching all these dramas, so drunk. I don't want to be a drama queen anymore. But I gotta laugh a little bit. You guys gotta find something that makes you laugh. It might be just going for a bike ride with the ones you love. You gotta laugh because Jesus is already in the future. Don't worry about it. And then she speaks with wisdom. When she speaks, her words are wise, and she gives instructions with kindness. And this is the effect of having Christ in your heart. It comes out through your words. So I guess one thing you got to make certain is that if Christ is your cause, you're studying what he says about you and not what the world says about you again. Google identity in Christ. Write that on a post-it on your fridge. When you get your milk in the morning, out of the fridge, or your coffee, read it. It says, I am a daughter of God. I am Christ's friend. I am justified. I am a child of the King. You are not what the world says about you. You see, when you know what Jesus says about you, you will surpass the world's narrative for your life. Because the world's narrative for your life is wrong. So get his words into you. And then the effect of having him in your heart is that he'll come out through your words. And you'll have an effect on your surroundings and the people around you. Some of you speak truth to your friends when they're doing things they shouldn't do. And you can be someone that speaks life. Right? When you got life in you, you can speak life. And now, this is something that I've got underlined for a reason. It says she's praised by her children and her husband. The way I saw this was that the byproduct of a godly woman's life is that she's praised by her achievements. And those achievements have names. Now, here's the thing that really popped into my mind. I underlined children and husband because what if you're a woman today and your children don't praise you? And your husband doesn't praise you or notice you or lift a finger to help you? Well, children, you could look at that in this way. They are your achievements that aren't necessarily your kids. They're what you produce, right? Kids are doughheads, as my friend Mel would say, okay? Kids are doughheads. Their minds aren't permanently formed until they're 25 years old. And so, if you're a kid here today, it's not a put down. It's just a physical fact, okay? Okay? Your brain is not fully formed until you're 25. I mean, that part of your brain that says, oh, there's a banana peel on the floor, I should pick that up. That's the part of your brain. The part of your brain that says, oh, school's in 4 minutes. Nah, I can watch one more video on YouTube. Right? That's the part of your brain we're talking about. So, I can't believe the Lord let me do any ministry before I was 25 years old, and I think my wife would agree with that statement. Because, the guy in the Superman suit laying on the roof of a truck, flying downtown Hope with nothing strapping him to the roof. For youth event, that's a pretty stupid guy. And Sanders in the store and sees this truck drive by and goes, oh no. I don't know about that. Now, the reason I talk about all that brain development thing is because it's very true that your kids might not see, because they got half a brain, how much you've done for them. They might not see how much you love them with. They might not see everything that you put up with and the money that you put out in their life. It's like, my brother said to my dad one day, just write a check. It's fine. Dad's like, but you don't understand, so there's got to be money in the bank. Right? Just write a check. Because kids just don't get stuff like that, right? And so, what you got to do is you got to keep your eyes on a couple things. You got to have a decade's view of the love that you pour into children's lives. Decades. Because it might take a decade or 2 or 3 before they come around and start to appreciate you. Okay? But in the meantime, your achievements, who have names, are people and things you do to love people around you, that you can look and see some of the good you do now if you get involved in community and you do something like make a lasagna for the teacher's lunch on Tuesday here. And you love those people. Right now you can see your achievements and they have names, they feel loved, these teachers, because you did that. That's a small thing. But that's what we're talking about. And the second thing is, she's praised by her husband. What if your husband's a complete Nimrod and doesn't appreciate you at all? Okay. What if he's a jerk? Well, the husband I'm talking about is the husband of the church. The Bible says that the church is the bride of Christ. And her husband is Jesus. And the wedding day will be when Jesus comes back and we see him, and the marriage feast of the Lamb, it's called in Revelation, where Jesus Christ prepares an amazing banquet for all his people. And his bride is the church. And then I would say to you then, your husband is Jesus. He's the man you've always been looking for anyway. Even if you got a great husband, he still can't fulfill that place in your heart that only Christ can fill. So he's your husband. And what he thinks of you matters more than any other person on the planet thinks about you. What he thinks about you is what matters, not what they think. And so, Jesus is your focus in life. Because you know he's pleased with you because he died for all your sin. It's all forgiven, women. He doesn't grade you on how your day went. He grades you on the fact that 110% is what you get every day because you're my daughter. And so, he is your husband. He's your hero. So keep those things in mind when you're dealing with humanity that's like this and they're praised and they're fickle. I mean, humans are so unpredictable. Jesus is the same. He's steady. And then the last thing is her beauty is inside out. Charm is the ability to incite adoration. Some people can be very charming. And then you get to know them and you find out, oh, hey, they're not so charming. Charm is deceptive, the Bible says. Beauty does not last. But a woman who fears the Lord will be praised. Another warrior princess I thought was pretty cool when I was a kid was Carrie Fisher. Princess Leia. So, when I found out that Princess Leia died on Boxing Day there, I was pretty upset. And one thing I liked about Carrie Fisher as a human being, not just as Princess Leia, was that she had a very practical view of the world. She was not impressed with Hollywood any longer. They're all idiots, she said. And when they asked her to lose 35 pounds to play the part of Princess Leia in the last Star Wars movie, she was like, whatever, I'm doing it for the $1.5 million. Yeah, I'll do it. But she said, it's so stupid and shallow the way that Hollywood makes women feel about themselves. And you know what? I've aged. I'm 60 years old. People were criticizing me for the way she looked. She says, I'm 60. You might as well ask me to get younger because you changed. And so she just didn't care about beauty anymore because it was fading. The Bible says the woman who fears the Lord has eternal beauty. She's got an eternal beauty about her. Helen Latham was a 90-year-old lady in our church in Cornell. Helen was patient, kind. Dad decided one day he was going to have a talent show for the church. And so he let Rob Schweier and my Uncle Kevin Kennedy come with their Striper cover band. Anybody remember Striper? Heavenly Metal. Heavenly Metal. So they get up there and they get their guitars and they got their long mullet. They both have mullets. And they started going, Jesus! And they're just rocking out and going, right? And all the 40-year-old people in the church stepped back and sat on their pew and didn't know what was going on. And it was scary, right? And these guys off pitch, they went on the guitar, they finished the song, right? And then Rob and Kevin were like, yeah, the church is depressed. This is awesome. Helen Latham's at the back, and she had a dignity about her. She just went like this. All the other 40-some girls in the church were like, that's horrible, I can't believe Pastor Randy, I love that in the church. And Helen's at the back like this. And she walked up to Kevin and Rob after the service and she said, boys, that was wonderful. I loved it. And I was like, you are amazing! Because she had a beauty about her. There's a saying, some people's minds over 50 are like concrete. They're mixed up and permanently set. Okay? Helen Latham was not a woman who had a concrete mind. She was young at heart. She had a beauty about her because Jesus Christ permeated every aspect of her. As was Lizette, a woman from the Arctic Circle who translated the New Testament into her people's tongue in that church at Cornell. She had a beauty about her that it's just like, when you met them, you shook their hand, you felt so loved. You know, and they weren't pretty anymore, but they were so beautiful. And that's what the Bible's talking about when it comes to being a Wonder Woman. You don't have to look like Gal Gadot, who's the Jewish actor. I'm such a geek, I know her name. I'm just playing that name. But you just got to have Jesus as your center, and then there's all those effects. Him as your cause. Those are the effects. So I'm going to ask you all to bow your head. I'll get the band to come up. And I just want to ask the women to get a vision of your husband today. Not the man that is your husband if you have one. We're talking about the man who died on the cross to save you. We're talking about Jesus, the Redeemer. If he is your vision, if he's front and center in your life, then anything else that happens won't affect you as powerfully as it has in the past if you make Jesus your vision. Lord, I pray that you would be the vision in our eyes to see that you're the hero, you're the man that these women live for. You can give them strength that is not their own. Lord, may we give them dignity. May we reward them for what they've done. I pray that you give all us men and kids eyes to see the things that they do for us. I pray our children their minds would form into godly young minds, and that they will respect and honor and see how great their mothers are, and listen to them and obey them. May we reward these great women, Lord. And Lord, may they remember that you, Jesus, are their great reward. No matter what happens from what they hear from the lips of a human, may they hold on to the fact that Jesus, one day you will say to them, well done, my good and faithful servant. So Lord, may you be our vision. May you be their vision today especially. Fill them with your Spirit, Lord. Amen. Why don't we stand up and sing, Be Thou My Vision? How about Jesus?